My sister couldn't handle me being happy, so my parents banned me from family events. I swear, I never planned on becoming the villain in my own family story. But when you're too happy, too loved, and too settled, apparently, it threatens people. Especially if you're not the chosen one. I'm Claire, 27, engaged to an amazing man named Matt. We live in a cozy little house in Austin, Texas, have a dog named Peanut, and we're planning our wedding for next spring. Things are finally going well for me. But here's the catch. My family can't stand it. Well, not all of them. Just the Holy Trinity, my parents, Robert and Linda, and my older sister Emma. Emma's the golden child. Always has been. It's not even subtle. Growing up, she got the best of everything, the best room, the best clothes, the biggest slice of cake. When I got into college, my parents shrugged. When she got accepted to a less competitive school, by the way, there was a party, balloons, champagne, the works. I stopped competing a long time ago, but that doesn't mean it doesn't sting. Emma dated a guy named Tyler for 2 years. He was younger than her by 5 years, still figuring things out, and surprise, not ready to settle down. She, of course, wanted a ring yesterday. She started dropping hints, pushing him, trying to drag him down the aisle before he even had a steady job. When Tyler's grandmother passed away, Emma did something unthinkable. She went to Tyler's grieving mother and asked for the grandmother's engagement ring, you know, the one she hadn't even been offered yet, because she assumed Tyler would propose soon. She wanted the ring in advance. Yeah, let that sink in. Before we go further, don't forget to like this story, hit subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss what happens next. The poor woman was mourning her mother, and Emma saw it as an opportunity to secure jewelry. Needless to say, it blew up in her face. Tyler was furious. He broke up with her. And the best part? Emma spun it to our parents like he was the villain. Like he was too scared to commit. Like she was the one left broken and betrayed. And my parents? They lapped it up. Fast forward a few months, Matt proposes to me. It wasn't planned. We'd been talking about it casually, but that night he just did it. On our couch, in his pajamas, holding a ring he'd secretly bought weeks ago. I cried. Said yes. Called my parents. They were polite. Pleasant. Said congratulations. But I could feel it. The tension. The forced cheer. Then came the family gathering, my aunt's birthday. I showed up with Matt, both of us beaming. We got congratulated, hugged. Everyone was happy for us. Everyone except Emma. She pulled me aside into the kitchen, where no one else could hear. You need to leave, she said, not even bothering with a greeting. Excuse me. You came here just to rub your engagement in my face. Don't play innocent. I blinked at her, stunned. Emma, what are you talking about? This isn't about you. We got engaged, and the family invited us. That's it. She scoffed. Right. Like it's just a coincidence you got engaged now. I bet you forced him to do it. Desperate much. Her voice was sharp, mean. The kind of mean that's born from deep insecurity. I didn't even know what to say. I tried to stay calm. Emma, Matt loves me. He proposed because he wanted to, not because I forced him. And honestly, I'm sorry you're hurt, but my happiness isn't about making you feel bad. She walked out, didn't say another word. That night, my phone rang. It was my mom. We need to talk, she said in that tone. You know, the one that means you're in trouble even though you did nothing wrong. Okay. Emma's very upset, she began. She's still healing from her breakup, and this has been hard on her. I bit my lip. I didn't do anything. I got engaged. Yes, but maybe it would be best if you didn't come to family events for a while. Just until she's feeling better. I thought she was joking. Laughed a little. She wasn't laughing. You're serious? Claire, my dad cut in. It's not about punishment. It's about compromise. Compromise. I snapped. You want me to stay away from my own family because Emma can't handle me being happy? My mom sighed. She needs support right now. So do I said, trying not to cry. But I guess I don't matter. They didn't argue with that. That's when something inside me shifted. All my life, I played the second fiddle. The afterthought. The one who had to shrink so Emma could shine. And here I was again, being asked to disappear so her fragile ego wouldn't crack. I hung up. The next day, I posted a story on Instagram. I didn't name names, but I laid it all out. The favoritism. The absurd request to skip family events. The way my joy was treated like a crime. The response? Explosive. Cousins called me, furious on my behalf. Friends of the family messaged me. Even my aunt sent me a long text saying she always suspected something was off but never realized it was this bad. My parents saw the story. They weren't happy. The next call was angrier. You're humiliating us, my dad said. You should be humiliated, I replied. Emma called too. Rage at me. said I'd ruined her life, that I was selfish and attention-seeking. I told her to lose my number. That night, Matt held me while I cried, not because I regretted what I'd done, but because I finally realized the truth. I'd never been part of that family. Not really. I'd just been a placeholder, a background character in Emma's spotlight. But not anymore. Now, I'm the main character in my story, and I'm just getting started. The next morning, Emma shows up at Claire's house, uninvited, using an emergency key. What she says next turns everything upside down. The next morning, I was still in pajamas, sipping my coffee and trying to convince myself not to overthink everything when I heard the front door open. Matt was already at work, and I knew I locked that door. I froze. Then I heard her voice. Claire. Emma. I shot up, heart pounding. She had used the emergency key, the one I gave Mom in case of, actual emergencies. This wasn't one. I stormed into the living room. What the hell are you doing here? She was standing like she owned the place. Arms crossed, face tight, like she'd rehearsed a monologue in her head all morning. We need to talk. No, you need to leave. Claire, stop acting like a child. That's when I saw red. A child? You're the one throwing tantrums over someone else's engagement. She didn't flinch. She actually looked smug. You embarrassed Mom and Dad. You made me look crazy. I didn't make you do anything, Emma. You did that all by yourself. She rolled her eyes and pulled out her phone. Then maybe you'll want to see what happens when you air your dirty laundry. She showed me a message thread with my mom. My mother was telling her to cut ties with me. Said I was unstable, jealous, and a threat to family unity. Claire's not happy unless she's tearing someone else down, the message read. I felt like I'd been punched in the chest. They weren't just disappointed. They were actively trying to erase me. I stared at her. You came here to what? Rub it in. No, Emma said. I came to warn you. If you don't take that post down, Mom and Dad are going nuclear. They're already talking about legal stuff. Defamation or whatever. I laughed. Out loud. Legal action? For telling the truth? Emma shrugged. You made them look bad. They're bad, I said. You think I care about how they look? After how they treated me? You think I owe them silence? Her mouth tightened. I could tell. This wasn't going the way she wanted. She turned toward the door. Fine. But don't say I didn't try. You want to blow up the family? You're doing a great job. And then she left. Just like that. But the damage was done. I sat down, still shaking, and reread those texts she showed me. My mother. The woman who raised me. Who kissed my scraped knees and taught me how to braid my hair. Calling me a threat. A threat. Matt came home that night to find me curled up on the couch, staring at nothing. I told him everything. He didn't say much. He just wrapped me in a blanket and sat with me. Quiet. Steady. The kind of love that doesn't ask questions, just holds you through the storm. I decided right then. If they wanted war, they were going to get it. Not with drama. Not with screaming. With truth. I started documenting everything. Every message. Every passive-aggressive text. Every gaslighting moment from the past year. I wasn't going to fight to be included in a family that only loved me conditionally. I was going to expose the terms of that love. The next day, I made a new post. This time, longer. I didn't name them, but I didn't have to. I talked about what it's like to be the second daughter, the one who gets silence while the golden child gets support. I talked about how conditional love isn't love. It's manipulation. And I asked a question that hit more than a few nerves. How many of you have had to shrink your joy so someone else's insecurities wouldn't feel so loud? The post went viral. Thousands of shares. Hundreds of comments. People saw themselves in my words. And once again, my phone lit up with rage. Not from strangers. From them. My mother left me a voicemail, voice trembling, furious. You're tearing this family apart, Claire. Is that what you want? I didn't respond. Because I wasn't tearing anything apart. I was just refusing to keep pretending. Later that week, I got a letter in the mail. Handwritten. From my dad. He said he was disappointed. That I was attacking the family for attention. He said I needed to apologize to Emma. That I was making her relive her trauma. And then, the kicker, you were always the stronger one. We thought you didn't need as much support. I sat with that line for a long time. Because here's what they never understood. Being the strong one doesn't mean you're unbreakable. It just means you learned how to bleed quietly. But not anymore. I don't bleed quietly. I speak. And I'm not going back. Just as Claire finds strength in standing up for herself, a long-lost relative reaches out, someone who knows the family's darkest secret, and they're ready to talk. It started with a Facebook message, which, by itself, was already weird. I barely use Facebook anymore. It's basically a ghost town where old high school classmates post MLM pitches and baby photos. But there it was. A message request from someone named Monica Green. I stared at it for a minute before I realized who she was. My mom's cousin. The one no one ever talked about. I hadn't seen her since I was, maybe, 12? I barely remembered her, just that she was loud, wore red lipstick, and once made my mom cry during a Thanksgiving argument. Her message was short. Claire, I've been following what's going on. We should talk. Call me. Attached was her number. I stared at it all day. Then, around midnight, I called. She picked up on the first ring. Claire, she said, like she already knew me. Like no time had passed. I didn't say anything. She exhaled. I'm not going to waste your time. I know what you're dealing with. I dealt with it too. That made me sit up. You mean my mom? No. I mean them. She said them, like it was poison. And then she told me a story I'll never forget. Back when Monica was younger, just out of college, she lived with my grandparents. My mom and her siblings were still teens back then. Monica said she always felt like something was off in that house. Quiet, heavy, controlled. She said my mom was the perfect daughter, even back then, always cleaning, always smiling when guests were over, always repeating whatever my grandpa said like it was gospel. I caught your grandfather yelling at your mom once. Like, screaming in her face for something tiny, a burnt piece of toast. And she just stood there, didn't even blink. I felt sick. Monica kept talking. She said she tried to stand up for my mom once, told my grandfather to calm down. And he turned on me so fast, Claire. Said I was poison. Said I was trying to ruin his family. She was kicked out a week later. Never spoke to any of them again. Until now. I thought your mom would break the cycle, she said. But it looks like she just turned into him. I was quiet for a long time. Because I always thought this was my story. My pain. My betrayal. But now I saw it for what it really was, a pattern. A damn family tradition of silence and control. Why are you telling me this? I asked. Because someone needs to. And because I want you to know, you're not crazy. You're not the first. And if you keep going, they'll do everything they can to shut you up. I thanked her. Hung up. And just sat there. For the first time in weeks, I didn't feel angry. I felt aware. This wasn't just about Emma's jealousy. It wasn't just about a ruined engagement or a passive-aggressive family. This was about legacy. About generations of women who were told to be quiet. To make things nice. To never embarrass the family. And I was breaking that. The next morning, I posted again. Not a rant. A story. About Monica. About the past. About how abuse doesn't always look like bruises. Sometimes it looks like silence. Like being asked to step aside so someone else can shine. The post exploded. More messages. More stories. And then a voicemail. From Emma. She sounded different. Not angry. Just tired. Claire. I saw your post. I think we need to talk. I didn't call her back right away. I needed time. Because now I knew this wasn't just my battle. It was something bigger. And it wasn't going to end with one confrontation. It was just beginning. When Claire finally agrees to meet Emma, what she learns about their parents, especially their mother, flips her entire childhood upside down. We met at a diner. Neutral ground. Bright lights. Other people around, just in case things got ugly. I picked the booth farthest from the door. Back to the wall. Just in case. Emma walked in 5 minutes late, sunglasses on even though we were indoors, like she was preparing for a press conference. She slid into the seat across from me. Didn't say hi. Didn't even make eye contact. We sat there in silence for a second. Then she finally spoke. You really had to post that stuff? I stared at her. Emma, you showed up in my house uninvited. You threatened me. And now you want to talk about what I posted. She looked away, jaw tight. I didn't mean for it to get that far. I was upset. Upset that I'm happy. I asked. She flinched. I didn't know it would feel like this, she said finally. Watching you get everything I wanted. And there it was. No filter. No spin. Just raw, ugly truth. I leaned back, arms crossed. You think I got everything? Emma, I worked for everything I have. Matt didn't fall into my lap. My piece didn't show up gift-wrapped. She laughed bitterly. Yeah? Try being the one they expect everything from. You think it's so great being the favorite? You think I wanted that? I blinked. That was new. She shook her head. You don't get it. Ever since we were kids, Mom was always like, Emma, set an example. Emma, don't cry. Emma, take care of your sister. You were the baby. You gotta mess up. I never could. Mess up. I said, my voice rising. Emma, I wasn't allowed to be upset without being told I was dramatic. I wasn't allowed to be good at anything because that made you feel insecure. Do you know what that's like? Being told your wins are selfish. Emma's face cracked. I wasn't trying to hurt you, she whispered. But every time you're happy, I feel like I failed. That stopped me. Because for the first time, I saw her not as the spoiled golden child, but as someone who was just as trapped in a different kind of cage. I used to envy you, I said quietly. All the attention, the praise, the way they never questioned you. She gave a hollow laugh. I envied you. The freedom, the quiet. I thought you didn't care. I shook my head. I cared. I just stopped trying. We sat in silence again. The waitress came by. We both waved her off. Finally, Emma looked at me. Mom and Dad, they're spiraling. They don't know what to do with this version of you. The one who doesn't fold. Good, I said. They need to sit in it for a while. She nodded slowly. They're not who we thought they were. You think I don't know that? No, she said. But I'm only just realizing it now. She reached into her bag and pulled out a small envelope. I found these. Letters. From Grandma. To Mom. She never sent them. I opened the envelope. Inside were 3 folded pages, yellowed and delicate. In them, Grandma begged my mom to stop treating her daughters like pieces on a chessboard, to stop pitting us against each other, to raise us with love, not pressure. The last line hit me like a punch. You're becoming Robert, and you don't even see it. I looked up at Emma. She was crying. Why didn't she listen? I asked. I don't know, she whispered. But I'm tired. I'm tired of pretending we're a happy family. I was too. I didn't forgive her. Not yet. But something cracked open between us. Not peace. Not reconciliation. Just honesty. I'm not taking that post down, I said. I know. And I'm not coming back. To dinners. To holidays. To any of it. She nodded. Can I still talk to you? I hesitated. Then shrugged. We'll see. We paid separately. No hug. No dramatic goodbye. But as we walked out into the parking lot, she looked back and said, I hope you know I'm proud of you. I didn't respond. But for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel alone. After the meeting with Emma, Claire receives an unexpected call from her father. And this time, he's not calling to guilt trip her. He's calling to confess. I didn't recognize the number. It rang twice, then stopped, then rang again. Persistent. I let it go to voicemail. Then curiosity got the better of me. I hit play. Claire. It's Dad. I think we need to talk. That was it. No anger. No accusations. Just quiet. Almost scared. I sat frozen for a minute. Then I called back. He answered immediately. Claire. His voice was different. Less firm. Almost uncertain. Hey, I said, cautious. I know I'm probably the last person you want to hear from right now. I didn't say anything. He sighed. I saw your post. And I read the one before that. About Monica. Yeah? And the one before that, he added. The one where you said being strong just meant bleeding quietly. Silence. I've been bleeding quietly a long time too, Claire. That stopped me. Because my father? The same man who could sit through dinner with his arms crossed and say more with a frown than most people could with full speeches? He never bled. Not that I saw. You're not calling to argue, are you? I asked carefully. No, he said. I'm calling because I owe you the truth. He paused. I could hear him breathing, like he was pacing. I didn't protect you, he said. I didn't protect either of you. I let your mother run the show. And when things got uncomfortable, I disappeared. Into work. Into silence. I told myself I was doing what was best. That's a lie, I said. I know, he said. And I believed it anyway. Because it was easier than facing what I didn't want to see. There was a pause. I read those letters, he said. My heart thudded. Emma showed me. Your grandmother, she warned us. And we ignored it. Why? I asked, voice cracking. Why did you let her treat me like that? Why didn't you ever stand up for me? He took a long breath. Because I was raised the same way. We don't challenge authority. We endure it. My father was a tyrant. I thought, if I just stayed out of it, I wouldn't become him. I laughed, but there was no humor in it. You didn't become him. You became his shadow. Silence. He didn't argue. I don't expect you to forgive me, he said. I wanted you to know I see it now. All of it. And I'm sorry. Too late, I said flatly. I know. And somehow, he didn't try to fix it. He just let it hang there. Real. Raw. Your mother thinks I've turned on her, he said. Maybe I have. Maybe I should have done it sooner. I didn't reply. Because there were no neat answers. No magic words. Only wait. Truth. Mess. Are you okay? He asked quietly. It caught me off guard. It was the first time in years he'd asked me anything personal. I'm getting there, I said. Good. There was another pause. Then, I hope one day you'll let me make it right. Whatever that means. I didn't promise anything. But I didn't hang up either. We talked for another few minutes. Small things. Careful steps. Then I ended the call. And cried. Not because I was hurt, but because for the first time, he finally saw me. Not the version Mom painted. Not the shadow behind Emma. Me. That night, I wrote it all down. Everything he said. And I didn't post it. Not yet. Some things aren't for the world. Some things are just for keeping. For remembering. Because healing isn't just about shouting your story. Sometimes, it's about finally hearing someone else's. Even if it comes way too late. Even if it doesn't fix the past. Just when Claire begins to find a sliver of peace, a message pops up from her mom, short, cold, and threatening. If you don't stop this now, I will destroy what's left of your reputation. Her message was short. No greeting. No preamble. If you don't stop this now, I will destroy what's left of your reputation. Just like that. As if I was still that girl who would fold. Who would apologize first. Who would second-guess her own memory because Mom said she remembered it wrong. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I deleted the message. Not because I was scared. Because it didn't deserve a response. She called later that night. I let it go to voicemail. Claire, I'm warning you. You're pushing this too far. I've spoken to several family members, and no one is on your side anymore. You're embarrassing yourself. Click. I didn't save it. I didn't need to. I already knew what she'd say. It was the same script, over and over. Guilt. Control. Gaslight. Repeat. But here's the thing about scripts. Once you stop reading your lines, the scene falls apart. So I made a decision. No more scenes. No more performance. No more family dinners where I played the role of the well-behaved shadow. I sat down that night and wrote my final post. Not for them. For me. I was always told that family is everything. That you forgive them, no matter what. That blood is thicker than boundaries. But here's what I've learned. Love without respect is just control. And I'm not interested in that kind of family anymore. If being happy makes you uncomfortable, that's your burden, not mine. If telling the truth embarrasses you, maybe you should have behaved better. I'm not shrinking anymore. I'm not apologizing for peace I had to fight for. I'm not erasing my scars so you can keep pretending we were perfect. To the people who raised me, I don't hate you. I just finally love myself more. It didn't go viral. And that was fine. Because it wasn't for strangers this time. It was a line in the sand. And I was done crossing it. A week passed. Then another. No calls. No texts. Just silence. And instead of feeling abandoned, I felt free. Matt and I finalized our wedding plans. Small ceremony. No family invites. Just friends. Chosen family. People who show up, not because they're obligated, but because they want to. Emma didn't come. She sent a card. No signature. Just a photo of us from when we were little. I keep it in a drawer. Not out of sentiment. Out of memory. Because that girl, the one standing next to her sister, smiling for the camera, trying so hard to be enough, she made it out. And she grew up. Now, I teach writing classes online. I coach young women on how to tell their own stories. And when they ask me, but won't my family get mad if I say this? I tell them what no one told me. If your truth costs you fake love, it's a bargain. I still get messages. Some from strangers. Some from cousins I haven't spoken to in years. They say things like, "Thank you for saying what I couldn't." And every time, I answer the same way. You can still say it. It's never too late. Sometimes I miss them. The idea of them. But then I remember that version of family only existed in my head. The real version? It doesn't deserve the space it used to take up in my heart. So I fill that space with something better. With chosen people. With honest love. With a voice that doesn't shake anymore. This was never about revenge. It was about release. And I'm free now. Finally. Completely. Undeniably free. So if this story hit close to home, drop a comment, share your experience, or just say same. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell, because here, we tell the stories no one else dares to. The ones that hurt, but also heal.